is buttons. So Bootstrap makes our work very easy as far as buttons are concerned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put out a comment over here and I'll put in buttons. And what I can do is I'm going to put out a break tag over here and an HR tag so that I separate things a little bit. And I'm going to say an H1, and inside this H1 I'll do buttons. So this is what we have over here, and I'm going to put out, since we know we have a class of txt center, you can put this right in the center and make things look a little bit nice. And let's do another HR so that we kind of put things very neat over here. Now, in order to do a button, there are a couple of ways we can put out a button. First of all, we can use a link tag or the anchor tag, I must say. And inside this anchor tag, let's say we are going to have a text like view more. So by default, this is a link tag, and we can apply some classes over here. So this is how we do things for a button. We can do btn, and we do btn, and we specify the color that we want. So we can do btn-primary. Remember the contextual colors, and that's exactly what you are going to see over here. It has some hovering effects and it looks a little bit nice. So this is one way of implementing a button. The other ways for which we can do is we can actually put out the button tag itself. That's an HTML tag, and we can say send inside this. And what we are going to do is we are going to come into the opening tag and apply Bootstrap class btn, and this time around let's do success. So that's what you see over here, and this the button success class. We can also have a submit button, and that will actually be an input tag. So we can have an input with a type of submit. That's what I was trying to refer to. So an input with a type of submit. And this one can also be, let's say, register. So the text in here is register, and in order to apply the class, we just have to come here and come and say class btn, and let's say info. And that's what we see over here. So these are various buttons that we can use. We can use a link or the anchor tag as we see over here. We can also use the button. We can also use an input of type submit for the button. But now let's look at the other classes that we can have as far as button styling is concerned. So the next one that I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the link tag or the anchor tag, and inside here I'm going to say delete. And with delete, we can, for instance, do a class of btn-danger. And these are some of the things we see in websites. Okay, so the delete is actually going to have some kind of a reddish color, and that's what Bootstrap is giving us. Very simple to use. Now the next set of buttons, I'm going to use the same word and things of that sort, or the same text in there. So I'm going to say, and inside this I'm going to say click. Okay, I'm going to say click. Now I'm going to add a class of btn-dark. So as you can see, there's a dark button. Then let me duplicate this. So I'm going to do a shift alt and a down arrow key, and I have these lined up over here. I'm just going to change the colors over here. So instead of dark, I can do btn, and let's do light. So with light, obviously you can see that it is only when you hover around it that you see some kind of hovering effects, light hovering effects over here. So let's do secondary. So secondary, and secondary is going to be the grayish or the light grayish color we see over there. And you can do btn warning, and warning is going to be the yellow color we see. And we can also do btn white, which in effect is almost going to be the same as this one we see over here. So the white is what we see over here. There's not too much of anything happening as far as the white is concerned, but then you can clearly see that these are the various buttons that we have. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put out a break tag over here and an HR tag so that I kind of separate things as we have it here. Let me clear this. All right, so this more or less the first set. We are going to look at other sets. So let's have the anchor tag, and let's also do click. So inside here, I'm going to put out a class, and this time around, I'm going to do something very interesting. So let's do btn, and we'll do outline-primary. So make sure you get your spellings right, primary. And that's what you see over here. So yes, this is going to be the primary color, but then it's only going to be at the outline. It's only when you hover around it that you see the color as we see over here. And let me also have this. Okay, so let me duplicate this, the Shift Alt and the down arrow key. Okay, and let's add Bootstrap classes. So I can do class btn, and I'll do outline, and I'll do secondary. When I do secondary, that's what we see over here. Very nice. I can also do class btn-danger. And you see, we only chose danger. That's why we have this over here. But then if you want the outline to be danger, we need to add this outline to it so that it is only the outline that's danger. Then we can as well do class btn-outline-success. So basically, we are just applying the contextual colors we spoke about earlier on. You could as well do class btn, then we'll do outline-dark. That's what we see over here. You can also do a class of btn outline-info. So this is the info color. Very nicely styled. We didn't have to worry ourselves so much about hovering effects, the CSS and things like that. It's just a matter of adding Bootstrap classes. We have bottom styled over here for us. So you can do btn-outline-light. Let's do light and see. These ones are not going to take any effect, but then we can see that yes, things are beginning to change over here. You can do a class of btn-outline. Let's try white and see. And this is not having any effects. All right, so we are going to move on to the next type of styling as far as these ones are concerned. So once again, I'm going to put out an HR tag so that I kind of separate this with a line. And inside here, I'm going to also put out a link tag. And I'm going to use the same text click. Now, something interesting is going to happen over here. Now, we are going to use a class of btn, and this time around, let's use dark. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this as you see over here. So these are the same type of buttons with the same type of styling. What we can do over here is we can actually change the sizes. So in order to change the size, let's come to the first one, and we can do a btn, and if we do a btn-lg, what I are trying to say is that yes, we want a button with a styling of the dark, but I want it big or large. So btn-lg will make this large. Now we can also add a btn, and we can do sm. When you do btn-sm, you can see that the second one is a little bit small, and by default this is a medium size, so we just leave it like that and we have the medium size. So depending on what you want to do and how big or how small you want your buttons to be, but primarily this is what you need as far as Bootstrap buttons and styling is concerned. You can do your own and add it later on, but then I think with this you can quickly design an interface in a matter of seconds.